This week on Camera Talk, we are going back to Leica land. The Leica man in Vietnam. He's a Leica man in Vietnam. Well, this week we're looking at the Summicron 50mm f2 version 3. This was the first version that got out of the 1960s, basically the silver. We got the rigid, and before that the collapsible. Well, this was the first one done in black. That's right. Once you go black, you never go back.
They said you was hung, and they was right.
And that's what happened with this. Is Mandler came along and designed a new version of the Summicron, and this is the black sheep of the family because he changed it. And in Leica land, that's a no-no.
Get the fuck out of here.
But we're gonna find out why it's an excellent lens still. So hey, look over there. That's right. And we're gonna get into the details of it. So grab something to eat or drink, get comfortable, and let's get at it.
Here I am in Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. So, as the intro says, this week we're looking at Leica's Summicron 50mm f2, and this is version 3. Now, version 3 is what's known in Leica land as the black sheep of the family. And why is that? Well, because Dr. Mandler, when he redesigned this thing, like most of Mandler designs, he was looking at the economy of production, keeping costs down, simplicity, lightening the load, so to speak. So he changed this from what was already two other versions, and the version 2 is a part A, part B type of thing. So it was frowned upon. And so getting, just to give you a rewind of why it is what it is, the version 1, which I have as well, is a collapsible Summicron. 50mm silver or chrome body, and it had 7 elements in 4 groups. And the version 2 had also 7 elements in 4 groups. And Mandler came along and he got rid of one of the elements, so now it's 6 elements in 4 groups. And again, in Leica land, you don't go changing something that's already considered a perfect model.
Open his head.
So, again, we went from collapsible to rigid to dual range. Chad used goggles with. That one's also a popular version. And then along come 1969, Walter Mandler designed this one, the third version. And again, he took away one of the elements. Some of the other changes were to increase contrast compared to the first 2 versions, but at a price of losing some resolution. So again, that was one of the complaints that some people had. But the contrast was a gain for those who were into the contrast land, so to speak. And it ran for 10 years, from 1969 to 1979.
Shakedown, 1979.
Due to the construction of it and the loss of the element, it also lightened the load, so it was only 200 grams. It also shortened the minimum focus, close focus, which was 1 meter for the first 2 versions, and this one was the first one to come in at 70 centimeters, or 0.7 of a meter. And again, it it has its fan club, and it has those who poo-poo upon it. Version 4 came along in 1979, and they added a tab. They also lost aperture blades. I forgot, this one has 10 aperture blades. The version 4 has only 8, so it loses, again, loses something in the mix. So it gained, it gained in resolution. Again, it was a technically better lens, the version 4. It was also lighter than this one even. It was 195 grams. But it was a good, it had a good run as well. Version 5 came along and it lost the tab. So we went from no tab to tab, talking about the finger tab. And then no tab again in version 5. But version 5 was a heavier beast as well. It ranged depending on whether it was the aluminum or chrome version. Bodies went from 242 grams to 335 grams. So that was its claim to fame. And then our last version, or current version I should say, version 6. And it's the Apo aspherical floating element version. And it's about as near to perfection as you can get for a Summicron anyway. But you also pay for it as well. It's $7,200, compared to this one, which you can get for anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 in that range as well. But with that spherical lens element in the version 6, you also end up with onion ring bokeh balls happening. So, and it's 300 grams too. It's also heavier than this. And you gain an extra aperture blade too. So you get 11 blades instead of 10 that you get in this one. So if you're going to compare, some of the better qualities that people go for these types of things, like bokeh, which is the quality of your out of focus background. This one and the version 6 are kind of the ones that people seek out in that regard. So, the specs on this is 6 elements in 4 groups. Its close focus, as I've already mentioned, is 70 centimeters, which is typical for rangefinder. 10 Bokalicious aperture blades, and 200 grams. So again, it's not heavy. It's quite small. Actually, it's one of the benefits of this lens is it's fairly tiny in length as well as girth. Some members of the public out there may not be so keen on short things with no girth.
That's what she said.
But as far as lens goes, this is quite nice as it sits on your M body or on a mirrorless camera where you can adapt it quite easily. And they come out with pretty fabulous results. So it's economical. It has that vintage Leica look. It's sharp. I mean, it's not as sharp as obviously version 6 and 5 and 4, but it's still pretty sharp for a Leica lens. It has great bokeh, as I've already mentioned before. It has higher contrast than the first 2 versions, and it's light. Lightweight and small. And again, those 10 blades are nice compared to the 8 blades as the, follow along version 4, version 5 had. Now some of the downsides of it, obviously, is that you get less resolution than.
See, now that's some bullshit.
It's still pretty good though. I mean, if you're doing side-by-side comparisons, you may see the difference, but just a straight-up shot, you're probably not going to notice the lack of resolution. And I'll show you, obviously, shots of him using this lens from about an hour ago while he was eating watermelon and wandering around the premises. It has a long focus throw compared to, again, the other models out there. Some like it, some don't. doesn't really bother me, so I don't really have an opinion on whether it's too long or too short.
Size doesn't matter.
It can be too contrasty for some people at times, and some people say it's you know, the mechanics are loose. Don't feel loose to me. I mean, maybe because I had this thing in CL8 a while ago, so yeah, maybe it is to them anyway. So other than that, though, again, it has its pros and cons just like any lens, right? So you can't complain. And as usual, I'm going to give you a shot of my Canon M50, which I use to record these videos. And I'm going to, and what I do is I focus in on the faceplate on the kit lens. It's a 15 to 45 EFM lens, so I focus in on the print on the end of the lens, so you can see what it looks like from there. So as always, I shoot wide open. Yeah, I know, huh? So let me, again, sorry if I block your face a little bit. I know you don't like when I do that, but that looks good right there. 1, 2, 3. Ah, it's right. And 5.6, just to show you, again, if stopping down does anything to improve on that. Hold on a second. Yeah, I know, huh? Alright, let me zip in here and have a look at, yeah, right there. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So, that was f2 and 5.6. You know, I'll give you a cropped in version of that as well, so you can see, you know, the difference between obviously being 2 meters away, or 1.75 meters, and what it looks up close, right? Because we like things up close, don't we, mister? All right, so can I recommend this lens? Absolutely. You know, bang for the buck. You know, again, if you can get it for $1,000, cool. If you can get it for $800, even better. It just depends on where you are in the world. Of course, eBay is eBay, but you know, if you find some private sellers who, you know, are just looking to get rid of it or something, then that might be a better way to go. So yes, I can recommend it for sure. Again, because if you're going to get the version 6, you know, the Apple version, it's you know, $7,200 or thereabouts, and that's a little pricey, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I can recommend it. So Dr. Scott's recommendation.
9 doctors out of 10 doctors probably agree.
The Summicron 50mm f2 version 3 gets a thumbs up. Maybe 2 thumbs up. And that reminds me, hey, we need to put our little plug-in for our photo editing software that we use, which is Luminar and Luminar AI. Or Luminar Neo, I forgot. Luminar Neo, Luminar AI. And you know, Luminar Neo is their latest, greatest version. It replaces Luminar 4, and you know, comes with some cool bells and whistles, power line removal, no more highlighting stuff, and taking time to delete things one at a time. It's just hit the button and it analyzes your photo using AI to figure out where the power lines are and how to get rid of them without you having to think about it, right? Because we don't like to think about things, do we? Spot removal or dust removal on your lens. You have a dirty lens? Do you have a dirty lens, mister? I shouldn't. I just changed your diaper a while ago. But dirty lens. Yeah, I choke on that too. Same thing as the power line. Click, it analyzes the photo and removes whatever spots it figures aren't supposed to be there. Gone. Then we have relighting. That sounds like a fake cough, mister. Are you fake coughing? Relighting. You want to move your light from here to there to behind you to wherever, it'll do that for you as well. Well, yeah, obviously you have to tell it which direction to come from, but it will do it in its own. So I can recommend that too, and it's very economical. You know, $60, $70, $80. We're not quite sure what the final price tag is going to be, but that's still economical because you buy it, it's yours for life. You put it on your computer, and that's it. You never have to. You never have to upgrade to anything else if you don't want to, or if you don't want to pay for anything else. And if you want to save some money on that, even further, click below. $10 off. $10 off, right? Can't beat that. And then we get something, a little kickback from that too, right? And why does he want kickback?
$1 million.
Cookies. We want cookies. That's right. Send us some cookies. So speaking of that, we also need you to support our channel, which means subscribers, right? So we would like you to subscribe. That's right. And then Dylan says, subscribe. And how about a 2-finger one? Ready? 2 fingers. Subscribe. That's right. Subscribe. And why do we want subscribers? Because that's what the algorithm likes and gets more exposure out there. And how about the thumbs up? We need thumbs up, right? Because algorithms like thumbs up as well. And we get to show off the thumbs up girls. And last but not least, why are we here? Remember, you belong here, right? That's right, you belong here. And where do you belong? At Modesty Photography, where we're here to introduce you to vintage lenses or cameras or just about anything, you know, photographic techniques and tips and tricks and all that good stuff. Especially for you beginners out there. You know, the experts already know everything, so they don't even watch YouTube videos anymore. What do you think, mister? Shall we tell them, come on back next week. Stay safe out there. You know, it's a COVID world. Don't be an anti-vaxxer. Be one if you want. But it really is for your own good. And what else can we say? Come on back next week. We'll do this again. We'll talk about some other tips and tricks and lenses and other types of things that we can sit down and discuss with you. So on behalf of Dylan, oh, wait a second. We didn't even show you pictures of Dylan. Speaking of Dylan. Whoa, before we go anywhere, hey, how about some pictures of Dylan? And how about some shots, some random shots of stuff, you know, using the f2 50 millimeter. It doesn't have to be pictures of Dylan all the time. Why not? Why not? Says him. Because people would like to see some other things, like cars and trees and lakes and mountains and other people maybe. So let's take a look at those. the end of anything we can think of, right? So come on back next week. We'll do it again, and we'll see you in the next video. All right, say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always